Have you ever found yourself in a cycle of self-sabotage? Listen up, because I'm going to show you how to stop self-sabotaging so you can get after your goals like a boss. Hey goal getters, welcome back to the BraveBoldYou channel. So today we're going to talk about how do we stop self-sabotaging. Well, first of all, I think it's really important that you are aware of the self-sabotage. And so what I'm going to invite you to do is, in moments you find yourself in a pattern of sabotaging yourself, say you made a promise to yourself that you were going to get up early to hit the gym first thing in the morning, and then by the time morning rolled around, you hit the snooze button. Say you made a promise to yourself that you were going to sit down and start drafting your business plan, and some friends called and all of a sudden you decided to go hang out with them. These things in isolation don't necessarily mean that you're sabotaging yourself. So what I want you to do is I want you to be really mindful of how often you are snoozing your alarm clock if you say that you want to be at the gym. How often are you avoiding sitting down to do your business plan? How often are you in patterns where you are very well aware that you're self-sabotaging? So awareness is key, and what I want you to do with this awareness, and this is where the magic happens. Instead of saying, "Oh, I'm doing it again," I'm going to invite you to be gentle with yourself and get very curious. So we're going to use some compassionate curiosity, and you're going to ask yourself, what's going on here, right? How did I get here? When you're able to to sit with yourself like this, you're going to get some different insight. So are you avoiding getting up, going to the gym in the morning, like hitting your snooze button because maybe you're tired? Are you going to bed too late at night? So maybe we need to fix that sleep hygiene routine so that you're able to do it. Are you avoiding sitting down writing your business plan because it just feels overwhelming to you and it feels taxing to your nervous system, so you're trying to do other things to not do that thing? The awareness is going to be key. Here's where you're going to really sit with yourself and you're going to ask yourself, what is the fear? Am I afraid of failure? Am I afraid of success, right? Are you riding a perfectionism wagon? Riding a perfectionism wagon, a maladaptive perfectionism I'm talking about, is where it's really going to impede you from doing anything that you say you want to do because it's not perfect. And I'm going to ask you to sit with the energy of excellence. So let's say right now I'm doing a challenge to move my body every day for 30 minutes every day. And sometimes I don't have 30 minutes consecutive. Now, if I'm riding a perfectionism train, I might tell myself, well, I don't have 30 minutes, so I'm not going to do it. But instead, if I'm riding an excellence train, I can split up that 30 minutes into different segments of time throughout my day. And so this is the energy you're going to play with. Maybe you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself as well. That could very well be. Sometimes we tend to put so much on our plate and we are afraid to ask for help, or we think that we're the ones that need to be doing all the things and we're juggling all the things. And so that self-imposed pressure, you're going to really need to face it and look at it and see, is this true? Do I have to be doing all the things? Does it have to all be done today? And does it have to just be done by me, right? Or right now? And all of this awareness is going to be key in helping you understand yourself a little bit better in this pattern. Next, once you are very well aware of the triggers that you're showing up in, right, because you've created an awareness around it when it comes to trying to work towards your goal and finding your self-sabotage, what I want you to do is you're going to look at your goal again. Now, what we tend to do is we look at the goal and we say, this is the goal I want. But what I'm going to invite you to do is you're going to reverse engineer it. So that's going to look like, if you say you want to write a book, instead of looking at the final product of a book, I want you to look at writing a page, writing a chapter, right? If you say that your goal is to get stronger in the gym and you want to be able to lift 100 pounds, you're going to reverse engineer it and you're going to practice lifting 15 pounds, 25 pounds, and you're going to build up like this. If your goal is to be debt-free, you're going to reverse engineer that goal and you're going to focus on paying one debt at a time. And so all of these little mini wins, these little micro goals are going to add up into the bigger goal. So what you're doing is you're reverse engineering the first steps that you need to do. And this is going to help you have a better plan. And when you have a plan, then you tend to be more focused on what you're doing versus looking at what everybody else is doing. Because also sometimes when we sabotage, it's because we're busy looking at everybody else. We have some comparisonitis, and I do have a few episodes on that where I talk about how to use comparison as a proof of possibility. You can check it out here. But when you're able to do this, you have a laser focus in your reverse engineering your goals into micro goals, and you're going to start to build up that momentum. You don't need motivation. All you need is momentum. Next, what I want you to do, seeing that you've now established your mini goals, your micro goals, you're going to map it out for that micro goal. So you're going to have a map. See, maps are really cool because they help us get from point A to point B. Now, the way that I view a map is make anything possible. See, when I'm looking at a big goal, it seems so overwhelming to my system sometimes. I will naturally want to self-sabotage. This is what we're talking about. I will naturally self-sabotage because I'm going to be looking at what everybody else is doing, and it's going to feel so far. Whereas when I have little micro goals, what I'm doing with this plan is I'm setting it out, all the little monotonous things that I need to do, all the boring things, step by step, what needs to happen in order to achieve this micro goal. Again, you don't need motivation, you just need momentum. Let's get some wins under your belt. And so when you're making your plan, there's fun ways to do this. Actually, does Mark have any of those? He does, yes, okay. Let's do it like this. I have really cool ways on how you can do your plan. So when you're setting up your plan, you can use things like I have in my system called the 120 method. You can journal it out on a paper. You can write it out as you see fit. You can also do things like get little stickies, these little sticky pads, papers, and see what I'm doing right now with my 60-day challenge, my movement challenge, is I've numbered, and if you follow me on social media, you'll have seen these. I number each sticky 1 through 60, and I have it on my bedroom. And so when I'm looking at it every day, it's in my face, and I know that I need to show up for what I said I was going to show up for, regardless of if I feel like it or not, right? Because I have commitment. And so what you do is you're going to rip off your sticky notes. So what I would say is map it out, but have it in a way where you're actually looking at it and you're focusing on it in a daily practice, right? So that you're building up towards it. Get yourself some support, like a support system, enlist your friends, tell people what you're doing. For myself, after this second spinal flare, moving my body was a little bit challenging, and there was a little bit of fear because I was afraid that I was going to make things worse. And so I've already spoken on this, like, is my pain hurting me or is it just, uncomfortable? So I had to do a lot of this mindset and this managing my self-talk, but having a plan, as I did, and I showed everybody my little sticky notes all over my wall. And every day I move my body for 30 minutes and I take a sticky note off. Now, if ever I were to miss a day, I don't want you, and I won't do this either, to beat yourself up. Because what tends to happen is that when you're hard on yourself and you beat yourself up, when we can be so rude to ourselves and so mean to ourselves that it keeps you stuck. Like, you're going to feel like you're not enough, so why bother? So instead, use it as data, right? And then you go back to the plan and then you ask yourself, get curious, ask different questions. What can I do to improve this? What can I do, right? So if, let's say, for example, it is the getting up early in the morning because that's the only time that you have in your schedule to get to the gym. Well, maybe that means that your plan has to start the night prior. That means you need to get to bed earlier so you have a solid night's sleep so that you wake up feeling refreshed and vibrant and energized and ready to go. Lastly, I'll tell you to celebrate all your mini wins as well as embrace the failures. Again, fail is first attempt in learning. So you're going to look at the feedback that you're getting to make it better. So if you are, you're either winning or you're learning. And so celebrate your mini wins. And if you're in a learning phase, you're going to look at it and see what worked, what didn't, what can I do next? And you improve it like that. Again, I'm going to say it again. You don't need motivation. You just need momentum. And this, once you start down this path, it opens up different ways for you to just show up, and you see your patterns of where you want to self-sabotage. And again, then you go back to the beginning, like I spoke at the beginning of this video. You get really curious. You ask yourself, what's triggering me right now, right? And you start this video all over again. Please make sure that you're subscribed. I am so grateful for all the subscribers. The more subscribers we have, the better guests we can have on the show. And if you are subscribed, make sure you hit the notification bell so that you'll be the first to know when I drop content like that. As always, be brave, be bold, be you.